This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by...
Hurt in a wreck. Why would you even think about calling the insurance company first?
Call someone who's going to work for you, not against you.
The insurance companies are not on your side. We are.
We are Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe are the lawyers for you. Call 222-2222.
Hello, welcome to our show, coming to you from the Bill and Kelly studio in Highland, Indiana. And we want to welcome our guest to their show today,
Yes.
Billy Sampson.
Thank you.
And Billy's going to talk to us a bit about his ministry, which right around the Christmas season, right around, what would you say, November, December or so?
Right after Thanksgiving, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you do locally here is you put on concerts and then have food drives, invite people to bring in food. Then you take that food and distribute it.
Yes, sir.
So it's like a one-man band. Excuse
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So tell us a bit about that.
So back about, I guess it was probably about 5 years ago, I had a friend of mine that I went to high school with. Her name was Melissa Smith. And Melissa had put on Facebook that she was, she went into a gas station and she ran into a young lady that was working there. She was crying and she asked her, what's going on? And she said, talked about her husband had left her and she had 4 or 5 small children and she was only working 15 hours a week. It was about 2 or 3 weeks right before Christmas, and that she wasn't going to have a Christmas for her kids and all this stuff. And so Melissa posted on Facebook, would anybody like to help this girl? And I was in the middle of our Christmas concerts then, and I thought, wow, I said, this is really making an impact. A lot of people came to help her and stuff, and so anyhow, so that's what prompted me to begin to raise the food and start raising money to be able to just help families. That's what prompted me to do that. And so anyhow, so we did it that year and we raised about 2 tons of food in about 3 weeks.
Oh,
and
wow.
We were able to feed about 35 families that first year. Mm-hmm. And when I seen how successful that was, Bill, I decided, we're going to ramp our game up in 2016. And so what we did is we went to the studio in Nashville in 2016. Our family did. We recorded a brand new Christmas project called The Night That Changed the World, and got ourselves prepared for Christmas and worked on that all year long. And I said, hey, if I can feed 100 families and raise about $10,000, we're going to make an impact in some families in Northwest Indiana. And so
it's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings.
And so that year we fed 110 families. We passed out about $8,000 that year.
Wow.
And so we were absolutely amazed at what happened. And so that's kind of how it got birthed. And so now we just finished up the boxes actually last night. And we have fed over 300 families, including veterans, disabled vets, homeless vets, just several places around in the area. So anyhow, so it's been super successful.
Yeah.
And
I just want to tell our listeners out there, that's the reason why we had to reschedule. He had more food than time would allow him to deliver, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
That is a blessing in itself. I mean, and one of the things I'll say, it just amazes me, and we got this indication when we went through the food bank, and we've done several things out at the food bank, is you see this big massive facility, and you're saying, oh wow, man, this is going to really take care of folks. They are the first ones there to say we're only meeting like quarter the need of all the people, and you're seeing that. They're distributing food, you're distributing food, and there's still there. It's boy, it is saddening to know that there's that many people out there.
There are so many hurting families in Northwest Indiana, and I know that the economy is a little better right now in certain areas and stuff, and there's like in pockets of the country, but there are a lot of hurting people still and struggling, and I found that it's a lot of single moms and things, and so, but it's tough, but.
Yeah, well, you look at what's happening in our society, and it speaks to why that is. There's more divorces now, 50% divorce rate, and then you have single parents, and so then there's people that still don't recover from when mills turn down, or they may get laid off, and it's tough. When people get laid off, they're put in a situation, and that's why it's nice to have folks out there that do what you do and make sure people are looked after. I guess my question is, how do you find these people?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's one of the things I was concerned about in the beginning. I wanted to make sure that it was going to people that I knew were struggling, and so we've done about 20 concerts this year in Northwest Indiana, and all the churches in the area that's had us in. And what I like to do is I like to speak to the pastor directly of that church and say to him, listen, you're involved obviously in these families, you're involved in your community. You certainly would know who is hurting and families that are struggling. And so I get the majority of the names from the pastors that we do the concerts with. And again, because they would certainly know the situations a little more intimately because of what's happening. So that's how we get them. And then obviously very close friends of mine that would call me up or say, hey, Billy, I know a family that's hurting, or could you help them? And so I try to get the names from people that I know personally, and not that I'd help anybody if I knew they needed it, but that's kind of more of a reliable way for us to do it at the level that we're doing it at. I know if it got any bigger, I might have to change a few things, get a little bit bigger board of directors and stuff. So, but anyhow, that's how we do it right now.
There's this home in Gary, downtown Gary, that houses vets.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know that was. I didn't know existed. So.
I didn't know it existed actually until last year, and it's just right off of 5th and Broadway there, right in downtown Gary, and we were there actually on Tuesday. We were there Tuesday, and we were able to actually give them 25 boxes this year of food and canned goods, and took a lot of pictures with the guys, had some prayers with them, and they are just such a blessing. And so many guys, when I walked in, I saw there was guys limping around, and they had been injured in certain wars or whatever, and tragedies, and it just, man, I tell you, they really move my heart when I go into them places. We were there, and then we also went to another place. It's a smaller place. This is a homeless veteran place, and I found out that the homeless vet place that's in Gary on Ridge Road, they actually will take anybody in. But before the facility over in Gary can actually take someone who is a disabled vet, they actually have a vetting process, and they actually have to have an address for at least 6 months before they can actually take them in there to live. And so the other place on Ridge Road, they allow them to be able, if they're homeless and they're looking for a place, they will take them, no questions asked, take them in, give them the address that they need to be able to live, to have a place, and then they can put their stuff up. It's just a kind of a stepping stone. So it's an awesome place, and they work together so well. And so we provided food not only for the disabled vets there, but also for the homeless guys as well. We gave them 20 boxes of food. So
I'm glad to hear those places are available, and that there's people out there that look after those places and their needs.
Yes.
But one thing that should never happen is those two words merged together, homeless and vet.
I totally agree.
It just should not happen.
I totally agree with you.
But it happens.
Yeah. They're the heroes of our society.
Yeah, they are.
And they are.
We send them out into the worst situations, and they come back and boy. So then there's people like you that go out there and help them out, and I appreciate all your efforts. So talk about your schedule. So you come into this area, which is your home.
Yes, sir.
You're right from around this area.
In the Hammond area.
In the Hammond area, and so you come home for the big Christmas season. And,
So I'm on the road all year long. My family and I'm an evangelist and do a lot of mission work as well. And I'm on the road about 230 nights a year, 240 nights a year. We average about 270 to 80 church services a year. Sometimes we double up, in the morning and evening time during the week for some things. But anyhow, we come home in November, and I've got a few meetings here in the area in November that I do locally. And then we begin gearing up and rehearsing for the Christmas project. About a week and a half before Christmas, we start rehearsing.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dream. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. And Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams.
rehearsing at the house and getting ready to go, and we know that it's food ministry time, and so here we go, and we are swamped right after Thanksgiving. So
I tell you, I love it. A lot of people that travel throughout the year, they come home, their home base, they put their feet up and they start visiting neighbors and kicking back. You come back and you kick it up. That's great.
Yeah, and so we do. I told somebody this. Our family, and we're privileged and honored to be servants to people. That's a privilege and honor. And we go all year long and we give to everybody across the country. But I am just a stickler about coming home at the end of the year to the people that I know, the people that know me the best, and say, guys, we're going to finish our ministry at the end of the year serving our community. And I'm a fanatic about that, and just anybody that knows me, and my family's right with me. My wife, she is an unsung hero. She does not sing with our family, but she is right there by my side, traveling with me, supporting us. She was over there working. I mean, listen, Bill, if you would have seen her Monday. She took on the drill sergeant mode on Monday when we were boxing these boxes up for people. She was just lovingly barking orders. Make sure these cans they're not, the dates are not overextended, and just making sure that it was not thrown in the box but placed in there like you would want it. So anyhow,
that's part of the ministry. I'll tell you.
And my daughters, they're right there with us as well. So I'm blessed. I'm a blessed man.
This is getting me. This interview is kind of going to go down as one of my favorites, actually.
Wow.
Man, hear what you do, and as we discussed, I'm going to try to get you hooked up with the folks at the food bank.
Oh, that would be so awesome. That'll be such a privilege and honor to work with them as well.
Yeah. They're great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
That's what I've heard. I've never had a chance to meet anybody from there, but people that I have ran into that have used that service in Northwest Indiana, it's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So
they're part of the Feed America group, and
yes.
And so they're. But and they're heavily supported by some big companies in the area. Strack and Van Tills, Myers, and some others go together to help get them in there. But again, like I said, I can't say this enough. It's disheartening, is they're the first ones to say it. We're not getting there. We're not penetrating enough. There's a lot more out there, and that's why I say, when I'm hearing your story about all the people you're finding. And then to go there and see all the people that they are servicing, boy, we got a lot more work to do out there.
And the thing about it is, some of these situations that I'm running into is, it's not that people are not working. They are working, but again, like you mentioned there about the divorce rate a moment ago, some of this is really a breakdown of the family, I think. It really is, where sometimes where it just seems like some dads just don't want to take on that responsibility, to be able to take care of their families, and then sometimes it's mothers, and it's disheartening, and you have one parent trying to work for a minimal amount of money right now, and they just are struggling,
Right.
And I've just felt like if we can provide them with a $200 box of food at Christmas time, that may allow somebody to pay their NIPSCO bill. It might allow somebody to buy, junior a pair of shoes or whatever. So, and we have ran into that. We really have ran into a lot of that where, they had to make a decision about buying medicine as opposed to buying food. And I mean, it's just, oh man, it just kills me.
Before we get too far along, and you brought some of your songs, which I'm going to be excited to get blended into our show here today.
Thank you.
And so, describe some of the music you do.
Okay, so I've been recording music since the early 90s. It's close to 30 years now. And but the last 4 years, my oldest daughter sang with us up until 2015. She got married and moved to Chattanooga area and in the ministry with her husband there, and super proud of them. So we revamped a few things, and my two daughters that are still with me singing, Ashley and Sarah, they're 26 and 25 years old and still in the ministry, still traveling with us and dedicated to what we're doing. And so we began to work on some new stuff in 2015. And so we recorded the Not Guilty Project in 2015, gospel album that we did. Then we did The Night That Changed the World, which is the Christmas Project, in 2016. 2017 we recorded Broken Into Beautiful. That was our project in 2017. And then we have a brand new project out called Only Imagine. And we just actually, that one just came out about 2 months ago. So so we record gospel music, and we do it at the, what I feel like anyway is a high quality. We go to Nashville and we hire some of the best musicians in Nashville to play on the projects, and we work with a couple of guys there in Nashville that are producers and stuff, and vocal arrangements and stuff. Yeah, so, and it's something that we, somebody asked me, you get your stuff out on the radio, or are you singling songs? And I have been in that part of the industry before, but this is just something that our family does, and we try to be an encouragement with our music, and try to help people with that as well. So
great.
Yeah.
And so before we wrap up the show, just tell us about some of the churches or some of the venues you played at here during your Christmas tour.
Well, I want to point out my home church is the Sunrise Baptist Church in Gary. My pastor is Clement Chappelle, wonderful man of God, wonderful, loving church. They're in Gary. One church that I want to mention, though, in particular, actually two of them actually. One of them is the First Baptist Church of New Chicago over in Hobart, Indiana, and Pastor Jerry Stepp, and he and his wife Rhonda. That church is the church that actually has completely opened up their doors to us and allowed us to be able to store the food there. They themselves took on every month this year. We're going to get 200 jars of peanut butter. We're going to get 200 jars of jelly. We're going to get 200 cans of soup. And they literally opened up their doors for us and their Sunday school department to be able to store all of this food and the boxes and that wing of their church is an absolute mess for about 2 weeks. But there's such a blessing. And then Belmont Bible Church over in Downers Grove, Illinois, Pastor Mark Moore there, this year they actually supplied us with 180 boxes of food this year, and a massive donation for us. And so anyhow, but several other churches in the area, and just wonderful places, and we're grateful for all of them that have partnered with us and helped us. I could spend the whole hour just talking about these churches,
Yeah, so just kind of give folks the idea of the venues that you played at around here and have the food collections. And so.
Those are the areas that we're doing. And one more thing, to say this, Bill, if anybody is interested in finding our schedule, our website is BillySampsonMinistries.com. BillySampsonMinistries.com. You can go there, and then if you want to find us on Facebook, you can find us at, of course, Facebook.com/The Sampsons1, which you can find there. Twitter is the same thing, Twitter.com/The Sampsons1, and you can find our stuff there. Instagram is the same thing, Instagram is The Sampsons1. So
you're all social media hooked up.
Social media hooked up, and so
cool. Well, great, man. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on and telling us about your ministry and telling about what you do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
Bless you. And with that, we'll close out the show. Goodbye for now.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Hurt in a wreck. Why would you even think about calling the insurance company first?
Call someone who's going to work for you, not against you.
The insurance companies are not on your side. We are.
We are Lerner and Rowe.
Lerner and Rowe are the lawyers for you. Call 222-2222.